All right, so good morning, everyone, and welcome to this morning's roundtable. I'm Amy Garcia Phillips from the Rahway Arts and Business Partnership. I'm one of the managing directors, and I'm hosting today's event with my colleague, Anne-Marie Williams. Anne-Marie?
Good morning, I'm Anne-Marie Williams. I work also with Amy with the Rahway Arts and Business Partnership, and I do economic development for the city of Rahway. And I just want to take a moment to remind everyone that today's roundtable will be recorded and after will be loaded on rahwaydesign.com and will be available in Spanish. So thank you and welcome.
Anne-Marie, do you want to translate that to Spanish? Do you say that in Spanish?
Actually, no, thank you.
Okay. Okay. So again, we thank you all for joining us this morning, and we hope you'll learn a lot and get some good tips that you can use. We did this webinar because we recognize that our business community has seen new challenges arise through this pandemic. While this creates problems, it also gives us opportunities to adjust and adapt. And we hope that today's panelists will assist you in finding ways to maximize in a challenging and increasingly more digital environment. So at this time, I'd like to introduce our panelists to you. Oh, I'm missing a slide here. There we go. Okay. So we have Cheryl Rosenstock. She's a business partner with Wisdom Media Graphic Design for the past 21 years. She's now located on Cherry Street in Rahway. Overall, she has 30 years of design experience. She's an author, a book illustrator, and a former instructor of graphic design. So welcome, Cheryl.
Hi, everybody.
We also have Sham Malhotra. Sham is the owner of Division Web Design, located at 1521 Main Street. Sham has 15 years of experience in technology and over 7 years in web design, search engine optimization, which we'll hear about a little bit later, and marketing. So welcome, Sham.
Hi, everybody.
And we have Mark Siapka. Mark is an entrepreneur with 30 years of experience in technology, web development, software development. He's on the board of the Entrepreneurs Organization of New Jersey, as well as several business advisory boards. He's CEO of ADS Works and an owner of the ADS Works building at 1501 Main Street. So welcome, Mark, and thank you all our panelists for joining us today.
Thank you. Good morning. I just want to start this off letting you know that this is not going to be a sales seminar. We're not going to try and sell you anything. We're here to try and help and try and enlighten you on some of the areas that you may not be familiar with, or you may be. So we're going to touch upon a lot of different aspects about bringing your business online. And we're also going to refer you to rahwaydesigns.com for the detailed links on how to learn more about those subjects. We can't cover everything today. We can't solve all your problems today, but we can share our experience with you and perhaps make you aware of some of the things that you can go on and Google on your own. So the seminar is going to be divided into a few sections. We're going to start with terminology, go over some of the terms we'll be using. We'll move into an overview of the strategy to get a business online and hop into a roundtable discussion. So if you have questions during this entire seminar, please use the chat at the bottom of your Zoom application. We'll get to questions at the end of the seminar. It should only last about 30 minutes, and then we'll have time to answer all your questions. So please remember that rahwaydesigns.com is the website where all the details that we talk about today are going to be recorded. So Sham, if you don't mind, could you please kick it off and give us a brief list of terms that we'll be using today?
Sure thing, Mark. So here's some terminology that some of you may not know. We'll be using these words throughout the webinar, and I want to make sure that none of you get lost along the way. Don't worry about trying to remember them, though, because we're going to have them up on the screen for a majority of the webinar. Now, the first term is social media, and social media relates to anything that involves Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, and any other website that allows you to share content. Then we have call to action. Call to action is basically an instruction that you want your visitors to do, whether it be calling you or ordering online. Then we have metrics. That's basically measuring your performance. And then branding, that's creating a structure for your, I guess, online presence. Then we have PPC or pay-per-click, which is advertising such as Google Ads, which allows you to do ads in a cost-effective way. Then we have SEO or search engine optimization. This is how you, excuse me, rank on Google and other search engines. Then we have target audience, which is the group that your marketing aims to entice. Then we have online presence, which is how people perceive your business online.
All right, thank you, Sham. And I think Mark is going to go over the overview of our strategy today.
Yep. So business is easy, guys, right? You're all aware of that. We're all doing great, rocking it. It's only 3 simple steps, right? You need a source. You need to source a product or a service. You need to get that product or service in front of the people that you think want to buy it. And you need to make an exchange of money for the product. It really comes down to those 3 things. So why the heck is it so difficult, right? There's so much more that goes into it, and we all know that. And those 3 steps are the fundamentals, but it gets real deep. And we'll talk more about this during the round table, but identifying the target audience, right? That's the first place we want to start. You want to be able to figure out who is most likely to be purchasing from you. And, you want to keep your audience really precise and honed in, right? You have to have a niche. Unless you're Coca-Cola and your budget is everybody, which I don't think any of us really have that luxury nowadays. So when we talk about a target audience, it can't be anyone. It has to be much more specific, and we'll get more into details on that. There's branding we're going to be talking about, which is going to be creating an identity that differentiates you from everybody else out there doing the same thing you're doing. And it needs to emphasize your competitive advantage, which is basically your strong points. What makes you different? Why are you the best choice for the target audience that you're going after? We'll be moving into marketing as well, which is an overarching term that defines the whole process basically of promoting and selling the products. It encompasses advertising, and it encompasses the call to action that we talked about. So there'll be questions around all that. Metrics, right? We're going to talk about how to measure the effects of what we're doing. We have the luxury right now when you're online to be able to measure everything that happens, who comes to the website, how they behave, what they do. Very important. And with the metrics, what you want to do is be able to learn from them and improve. So, Amy, our master of ceremonies, please take the roundtable floor. It's yours.
All right, great. Thank you, Mark. So team, how can one help their business right now? What can they do? Cheryl, what do you say?
Leverage your existing customers.
All right, good. And how about you, Sham?
I agree with Cheryl. Leverage your existing customers.
All right, Mark.
What can I say? Leverage your existing customers, right? It takes 6 times as much effort to sell to a new customer than it does to an existing one. 6 times. So find out what your repeat customers are. Why are they coming back all the time? What makes them repeat customers? And make sure you do more of whatever it is they tell you you're doing to make them come back. That's one of your competitive advantages.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, bring your business online. And here's how we start. Step 1. The first most important step is to know your target audience. Once you know who your target audience is, you can build your brand around them. Branding. It sets the stage for your marketing efforts. Having the right logo and the right brands in place is super important because of the need for a professional, consistent presentation of your company and creating confidence in your product or service.
Okay, so what would you say is the easiest way to get online immediately, since that's the most important thing?
Well, I'd say there's 2 things you can do. You can create your social media pages, such as Facebook and Instagram, and you can create a Google business page. Now, we'll have links to creating the social media pages as well as the Google My Business page on rahwaydesigns.com. But for today, we'll be discussing Google My Business because it's a great free tool that allows you to control how people see your business on Google. And not many people know about it, actually. So with just a few simple steps, you can claim a business on Google and engage with your customers. So I'm going to give everyone a quick rundown of what you can do with Google My Business. So it allows your customers to find you on Google Maps, and this in turn helps you with your local SEO ranking. You can engage with your customers by allowing them to leave reviews, and you can respond to them. You can also answer questions and directly chat with your customers. It allows you to showcase your hours of operation, links to your website, showcase your products and services, as well as if you have a restaurant, it allows your customers to make reservations as well as view your menu online. You can also post pictures of your products, services, and your retail space and create special offers just for them. Now, the My Business profile also gives you really good analytics on how you perform on Google. So it can show you how many people have searched your business, how many people have organically found your business by searching for example, restaurant near me, and how many people click on your call to action. The only caveat is that anyone can easily make a Google My Business profile as well as these social media profiles. So you have to find a way to stand out.
Okay, so you're right, Sean. There are 1 million businesses out there. How do I do that? How do I make my business stand out?
Well, you make your business stand out by creating professional looking logo and branding.
Well, what do you mean by branding exactly?
What I mean by branding is the look, the feel, the tone, the voice of your company. It involves the colors and the fonts used in your logo and marketing materials. Your marketing materials should look like they come from the same company, from the same source, from the same parents. Consistency is very important for brand recognition. For example, when you see the Amazon logo and you see that smiley face, you recognize it immediately, you know it. Ultimately, it's what makes someone feel good about working with your company.
What do you mean by that? How can branding make someone feel good about working with you?
Well, I'm really glad you asked that question. Not that we scripted this or anything. So there's a couple of reasons why people would buy from you. And I want to go through some of these real basics, right? So the level one of people buying is to satisfy a basic human need. So water, food, clothes, right? We need those, no question. Second level of purchasing comes to satisfy an emotional desire or a want. So for example, you need clothes, anything will do, but you might want a brand name that will make you feel more popular, more fashionable, more desirable. So you're going to be appealing to an emotional want at a level two purchasing decisions. And then the third level becomes values, right? So values, for example, your brand should reflect the values that you hold, and it should resonate with your target audience. What does all this mean, right? Let me give you a simple example. I'm going to use potato chips. I love potato chips. So, for example, you're hungry and you want a snack. You can go anywhere and get a snack. So you get into the snack aisle and oh my gosh, there's 12 different brands of potato chips. Each one of those 12 different potato chips is going to satisfy your need for food, right? No problem. How do you decide? So the next level to think about is, I need food, but I want something spicy today. So I'm going to take a look at these two brands that have spicy chips. Still have two to choose from. What do you do next? You happen to be a big fan of recycling. So you look at the brand that has a big recycled bag logo on it. So you buy a bag of potato chips that are spicy and they are environmentally conscious as part of their brand identity, and you feel good about buying potato chips. So if somebody can make you feel good about buying potato chips, that's a job well done.
Yes, I agree with you. Anytime you can feel good about potato chips, Mark. But what are important marketing items that I should have for my business?
Well, definitely a logo, web presence, and social media. Those are the basics. Depending on your business, other traditional items you might want, for example, an EDDM, which is an every door direct mailer, and that goes to a targeted place. So for example, you could choose Rahway and send a postcard to everyone who lives in Rahway. You could also do a brochure, you could do a one sheet, you could do a flyer, you could do a newsletter. A newsletter can be printed, it can be digital. You could do email blasts or maybe some other things depending on your business, such as a virtual trade show. But really, a well-designed website is super important.
Mhm. Now, Cheryl, why is having a well-designed website so important?
I think I'll give that question to Sham.
Yeah. Thanks, Cheryl. So a well-designed website can either make or break your website or your business, I should say. Customers gauge whether they'll use your service based on the first impression they see of you. And since the website is the hub of your online presence, essentially every bit of marketing will lead them to your website to do a call to action. So your website needs to be clear and consistent with its message, right? Essentially the call to action. It needs to be consistent with its branding and easy to navigate. Now, we did put some slides together to show some research done by MIT, Harvard, Stanford, and other organizations, proving that if you don't have a well-designed website, your business is losing out on sales. So I'm just going to read off of them. Okay.
So a second.
Yeah, no worries. So
sorry,
56% of people won't trust a business without a website. I think you went off the slide.
I know.
It's okay.
I gotta get, there we go. Okay. Sorry about that.
Yeah, no worries. All right. 98% of people say Facebook doesn't substitute as a website. 75% of users determine credibility of a business by the design of their website. 81% of people research a business or service online. And last, 76% of people view websites on mobile. So these are just a few of the facts that we listed, but there's many more that we'll have on rawwaydesigns.com showing why you need a well-designed one and give you some information on how to design it properly.
These are great points. Many of our businesses just have social media, so it's important that they have a website. But what can they do with that website? What can a website do for you?
Good question. Websites are magic. They can do anything you want them to do, including ruin your business if they're not designed right. Really, the concept of the website is to provide the user with all the information that you need and also build consumer confidence. So what can it do, right? It can generate leads. It can actually close sales. You can make restaurant reservations. It can generate phone calls. It'll help in your branding effort. It'll help educate your market, build credibility. I started doing websites back in 1997. I love websites. I think they're the greatest thing since, I guess, sliced bread or potato chips. But the bottom line is, if they're done properly, they work really well. If they're not done properly, you're going to do more harm than good. So one of the things that, we are all talking about now is going online, right? So e-commerce is one of the big things that you could do. I don't know if all the businesses that are listening right now can actually sell their products online, but I think the majority can certainly benefit from having a presence. Yeah.
All right. Well, you mentioned a lot of different things, Mark, but do I need to have a website to have e-commerce?
Actually, you don't. I mean, I'm not saying you don't need a website. You do need that website, like we stated in the facts on the slides, right? But just in case you need to get something up quickly, there's a few things you could do. The first thing you could do is you can use your existing POS system. For example, if you have Square or Upserve, they give you instantaneous access to an online store that you can sell your products on. You can also post your products or services on Facebook Marketplace. That's easy as long as you have a Facebook profile. And you can also create a shop page on Facebook and Instagram. You can sell on Amazon and eBay, but we won't be touching on those today. And then if you do want to spend a little more time, you could make a DIY website using a website builder like Wix or Squarespace. And if you want to go a little more advanced and have a little bit more control of your customization, you can find a tutorial on Shopify or WordPress to do this as well. And the other thing is you could just ask one of us.
Yeah. So there's so much talk about websites, but how do I go about getting a website? Like, what's step one?
Step one. Well, let me put something in the chat for you guys. There's a website called Website Builder Expert that I found, which is really great. It basically asks you questions around your business and then customizes the steps that you need to take to get the website. But outside of that, I think the first step is your domain name. Right, the domain name is basically the address on the internet, if you don't know. So it'd be like adsworks.com for me. And the second step, to also harp on the consumer confidence and credibility aspect of things, I would suggest getting a business email address that matches the domain name so that people see continuity, and again, to bolster the brand as well. There's links to workspace.google.com on the Rahway Design site. That's where I would recommend looking to get yourself a business email through Google. And it could be it'd have to be your domain name. And, ask me if you want after the call. I can help you guys get those basics nailed. But once you have those basics nailed, the big question comes up: do it yourself or professional? Do it yourself is a great option, and it's appealing and it saves money. But I have a saying that I, always tell people. I said, my 10-year-old nephew knows how to use scissors, but I do not let him cut my hair. So yeah, you might be able to know how to use Photoshop, or you know how to use the front page application to build a website or Wix, but maybe you're not doing it, the right way, and you don't want to damage your brand. So ask for advice, ask for opinions. You don't necessarily have to hire a pro, but try and figure out what it is that you don't know. Like, we don't know what we don't know. So talk to people and try and figure out which is the best approach for you. And I know the city has some good news coming up after this, so I'll hand that one off to Amy again.
Yeah, thank you, Mark. Yeah, recently the city and the Rahway Arts and Business Partnership have offered some grants to assist businesses as part of the recovery phase. So we'll certainly let Rahway businesses know if and when additional grants become available. So team, if I build it, will they come?
Not necessarily. If they don't know you're there, they won't be able to come.
Well, that's a great segue into Google Ads, right? Amy?
Right. So how do I get visitors? Can't I just pay for them through Google?
Yeah. Google Ads is a great way to spend money, unless you learn the ropes, right? So I'm going to go through some really quick numbers with you. So you have to know your numbers before you get into paying for visitors, right? Because it can lead down a really expensive path. So you need to know how much you can afford to spend on advertising and still make a profit. So, understand your numbers. What is your profit margin? How much does it cost for you to sell a product? So whatever money's left over is your profit. Now, how much of that money that's left over are you willing to spend in advertising to sell the product or service? I'm going to say it again. You have to know the numbers. So let's say on average, your sales $50, right? And on average, your cost to produce that $50 item is $20. So then you've got a profit of $30 per sale. Now here's where it's going to get really complex, but stay with me here. How do you figure out what the cost is in getting a customer through an online ad? What does it cost to acquire a customer? So we still don't know two numbers that we need to make that determination. Remember, everything online is measurable. We just need to know the equations. So cost per click and conversion ratio. Those are two terms and two numbers that we need to figure out whether or not we're going to be making money or losing money when we pay for ads. So first, the cost per click. So with online ads, you pay a fee every time a user clicks on your ad. I'm keeping this real simple, but the cost will depend on the keyword, right? So let's just say for argument's sake, it's going to cost $1 per click. So it would be $500 to get 500 visitors. Good. We're still missing one number. How many of those visitors are actually going to purchase from you? That number is called the conversion ratio. And that number measures the percentage of visitors that convert into customers. Now, in 2020, the average conversion ratio across all Google ads was only 3.75%. 3.75%. So out of the 500 customers we talked about, only 19 would buy. That's 3.7%. So remember, we talked about a $30 profit. If we have 19 people who bought at a $30 profit, we have made $570 and spent $500 to do it. Congratulations, you made 70 bucks. Is it worth it? I don't think so. So we have to make some adjustments. We have to either pay less per click or increase the conversion ratio, or do both. If we can increase the conversion ratio to 10%, which is easy enough to do, that will change the equation to $1,000 profit, makes it more worthwhile. So my point is this, it's not to confuse you with numbers, but don't jump into this without really understanding what your numbers are. Because if you do understand what your numbers are, you could print money. If you know your conversion ratio and you know how much it costs to get people to your site and you understand your profits, you can use Google AdWords and you can use Facebook ads and Instagram ads to make money. But you can just as easily lose a lot of it. So if you have a desire to move into this direction, please do your research. There's a lot of good links on rahwaydesigns.com that can help guide you in this, and I'm happy to answer questions for you as well.
All right. Oof. So how do we track all the work that we're doing online?
That's a great question too. I guess I'm not going to stop talking. So metrics. Everything is about metrics now. With the internet, it's so easy to figure out what you're doing right and what you're doing wrong. You just need to know what numbers to look at. So Google Analytics, free service, connects to your website and measures all the important things to help you figure out whether you're doing good, not so good, or you should just fold up. Google Analytics, again, is free, and there's links to get to it on rahwaydesigns.com. It'll give you the numbers that you need, like a conversion ratio. It'll show you how engaged your customers are. Unlike traditional advertising, we have the luxury now to be able to track and measure everything down to the detail. And what I like to do with my business and with my customers is take them through a circular flywheel, so to speak. So we start by analyzing what they're trying to do with their target audience. We pick the keywords. We measure how those keywords convert. We figure out if we make a profit. And then we review. We review the metrics and decide what to do the next time that flywheel turns. So we're always learning, always adapting, always changing. We make one change at a time. We look at the analytics to see if it was a positive change or a negative change. And then we learn and we keep improving constantly.
All right. So in summary, what are some of the basic things that entrepreneurs should do right now?
I guess the most important thing really is self-care. As much as, we all don't want to take care of ourselves because it's wasted time, it's not revenue generating, but stress in these times will take you out of the game completely. And when you're out, the employees are out, your customers are out, you can't risk your most valuable asset, which is yourself. So be kind to yourself. Forgive yourself for mistakes. Don't be too hard on yourself. Learn from mistakes And more importantly, take time out to do stuff. Go for a walk. Don't sit in front of that computer or work yourself to death in the stores. Take care of yourself, because if you're not in your top physical, psychological, and mental place, you're not going to perform at the top of your game. The other thing is really to identify others in your field, experts or peers, whoever you can, and just talk with them. They're going through the same things that we're all going through. And I find that when I approach my competitors, who I thought were my competitors, we became friends because we're all against this common enemy that's causing our businesses distress. And the other thing is to, in that downtime, right, when you're taking that walk that we talked about, or whatever it is that makes you feel good, a bike ride, right? Think about things clearly and look at how you can pivot. Think about all the strong points, all your competitive advantages. Think of all the things that your customers have complimented you on, and figure out what else you can do. There may be an obstacle in the way called COVID, but we can go around it. We've done it before. We can do it again. Just, stay strong, ask for help if you need it. I'm open to brainstorm with you guys. I love doing it. And find people who you can talk to and shoot ideas off of.
Great. That's great advice. All right. So we're coming to the end of our presentation, but let me ask you, team. So if our visitors today forget everything from this webinar, but one thing, what is it that you would like them to remember?
Leverage your existing customers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. All right. So that's the most important thing. We are going to end the discussion portion, or I'm sorry, the presentation portion. We're going to go into questions. So if you have any questions, once again, please put them in the chat, and we'll try and get to them as best we can. So all this can be found, all this can be found on rahwaydesigns.com. So we'll have a recording of the entire presentation and the questions. It'll also be translated soon, and a lot of the resources that our panel has spoken about today will be available for your reference there.
One more thing, Amy. I know we didn't rehearse this part. I'm going off script, but that's just who I am. I discovered an app that I would really like all of you guys to try and get invited to. It's a brand new social media app, and it's called Clubhouse. Clubhouse is a discussion app where we have real experts, real leaders in thought and in different areas online, sports, whatever it is, that communicate with each other through this app. I can't explain how amazing it's been. I've been using it now for 3 days only, and I'm able to network with some of the leaders in search engine optimization. They're on there promoting themselves, but also answering questions just like we're going to be doing now. And it has a global reach. So I can't emphasize enough how helpful it's been for me. And I think you'll find value in it as well. It's called Clubhouse app. Unfortunately, it has to be an iPhone that it works with for now. But sign up for it and see if you can get on there. It's an invitation only. There's a time frame you have to wait to get on, but the insights provided have been extremely helpful. Sorry, guys, to derail.
Thanks. We also, you just reminded me, we will also have information about ways to optimize your social media on rahwaydesigns.com. So we didn't touch on that too much today because we have a slightly different focus, but there will be some tips on rahwaydesigns.com. So I think at this time, we'd like to open it up to everyone for some questions.
Amy, we have Amy and panel, we actually have a question that came in earlier. The question is, how do you correct or update Google Maps?
So the first thing, well, that's from Roger, right? Roger, if you want, I can help you after this chat, but you have to have your business claimed. And then once you have their business claimed, then you can edit those changes. Now, if you have a duplicate thing, you can actually try to add that duplicate thing to your account and then delete it from there. But like I said, I can help you after this discussion if you need
Thanks.
it.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. I've got a question. When is the second round of government PPP available? Today. They just released it. So if you guys haven't gotten your first round or want to go for a second round, the Small Business Administration, SBA.gov website is now taking applications for round 2 of PPP.
Jeff here from the Coffee Box. I have a question. First, thank you so much for this great advice. It's so nice to have so much amazing talent around Rahway and so willing to share. Question for the panel. Besides all the things that you've suggested to individual businesses, do you have further suggestions on how we can collectively promote the downtown sort of group together, in addition to the wonderful things that Anne-Marie and Amy and Rahway Communications are doing? Are there additional things that businesses can do that sort of make us a destination as opposed to a bunch of individual points?
Yeah, I mean, I think I remember there was something that was released. Coupons were given out at some point from Rahway. That would have been a great thing to utilize. I don't know that the businesses took full advantage of that. That'd be a nice way to cross-pollinate between each other. Complimentary offers back and forth between businesses would be nice. I know that there's been a lot of gathering sites that Rahway, the city, has put together. That's been working. We could consider doing something like and I think we talked about this also, Jeff, having some sort of a destination with barcodes or QR codes that send people around for a virtual scavenger hunt. All this between the winter and COVID, it's tough to get people outside, I imagine, during this season. But I'm happy to brainstorm if you want to. We can sit over a cup of coffee, perhaps. Free cup of coffee, maybe.
That sounds wonderful. Yes, caffeine for brainstorm sounds like a good trade anytime.
Perfect.
Yeah. Any other questions? I know in the discussion we talked a little bit about search engine optimization and pay-per-clicks. Are there any pay-per-click? Are there any questions about the differences between them? Or maybe the panel can touch on that a little bit.
Well, I mean, yeah. So PPC and SEO kind of go hand in hand, right? You need to do both, but PPC lets you determine if your business is going to be successful or not. Because let's face it, if you can't do well with Google Ads, you're not going to be doing well with SEO either, right? So now the key differences is basically what your business does, right? Now, if you're, for example, a clothing store that just opened up that, ships all over the US or even globally, right? Pay-per-click is probably the way you're going to want to go, right? But if you're for example, established business or like let's say a pizzeria, right? You can only essentially sell locally, and you want to keep having those reoccurring customers, and you want people to see you organically, right? So that sort of business would benefit more from SEO. Now, I'm not saying do one over the other if you have the ability to do both. And if you can only do one, I would say do PPC.
Okay, thank you.
So,
Maybe if
and just to reiterate again, later we'll have links on how you can set everything up on rawwaydesigns.com.
Yeah, so we basically just touched upon all kinds of things, and in no way did we go deep enough into any of them. That's why rawwaydesigns.com will have the links for any of the subjects that we talked about that you would like to dig deeper into. There's training videos, there's recommendations for where to buy domain names, how to build a website with the websitebuilderexpert.com site, metrics, all of it. Let's turn the tables a little bit. We've been doing a lot of talking. I don't know if you guys were expecting to talk, but we're going to make you do it. How many of you guys right now out there, if you don't mind, through either show of hands, can we raise hands on Zoom? Is that
not on this, but
no, so
I
so
mean,
let's
if everybody
let's
has their
basically
video open, they can raise their hand like that.
Yeah, let's
Like
do
a
that. Let's put the videos
yeah.
on and let's ask a few questions just so we know what the audience looks like, and maybe we could target some more tips to who you guys are and what you're doing. Number one, how many of you are using any kind of advertising online right now? Tammy's doing it. Roger's doing it.
By ads we mean
Blooming
like
Fields.
Facebook ads and Google ads and stuff like that, not just
Yeah,
pushing
right. Not
stuff on
just
social
being
media.
there, right, Sham?
Yeah,
no,
not
I'm
just
just
being
there.
Okay,
Yeah.
Yeah. So
No ads.
paying for advertisement.
Not
So-
yet.
Not yet.
Okay.
Is that
so-
an interest that you guys have?
Yes.
Okay. So, again, we can talk about this offline, but we got to figure out the numbers on it, because I've seen a lot of businesses pour a lot of money into it and then basically poo-poo Google ads, saying, oh, Google ads took all my money, but it really wasn't used properly. So it is very effective, and it just needs to be properly implemented. So yeah, that's ads. How about YouTube? Is anybody putting videos out right now to help educate their customers? I remember there was an ad, I'm old. There was an ad that said, an educated consumer is our best customer. I don't know who said that, but there's a lot of fact to that. And if you truly have the best product, and let's face it, everybody wants the best product. You don't go online searching for mediocre products.
Right.
You're looking for best products. So to find the best product, you really need to educate your customer to understand why your service or product is the best. So YouTube videos are a great way to do that. And they also come up on search.
Yeah.
So if you're not using the videos, go for it.
Yeah, I agree with Mark. So you don't even necessarily have to promote your business. Like there's a lot of great content marketing ideas, right? For example, if you have a customer that really likes your product and service, you can have them make a video testimonial. Most people would be happy to make a quick 30-second video testimonial, and that goes a lot farther than any Google review would.
All right.
So, or Yelp review, right? Then another thing to think about is you don't always want to try to sell people, right? So if you're just gonna post on social media about everything that you do and how much your services cost or your products cost, people aren't gonna be engaged, right? You have to give them stuff to keep them engaged. For example, let's take Jeff, right? Coffee, right? So he can either push whatever he's selling, right? Or he can, for example, give tips on how to brew coffee, right? For example, with a Chemex or any other sort of brewing technique. I'm not too savvy with the coffee brewing. And then like he can also give, he has amazing baked goods. He can show how you can bake some of these things at home, right? These are things that'll keep people wanting to come back to see what you're doing, right? And in turn, that'll keep them in your mind and want them to keep using you or actually buy from you.
Good point, Sham. And to Sham's point, to further it a little bit, it'd be a good exercise for all of you to think about. You have to get yourself out of your own box, right? And say, if I was a potential customer, one of my target audience members, not knowing all the terminology that you know about your products, because you guys all use specialized terms for your products, you get acronyms or whatever, but someone who's coming in like out of kindergarten and they're looking for your product, what words would they use? Right? And remember those words, key words. Google is about keywords. Everything is about keywords, hashtags, all that. We got to get the right ones. So, if you're looking at a target audience who is, let's use Jeff's Coffee Box as an example, who is very well versed in coffee and understands the difference between light roast and dark roast and all the different brewing techniques, the terms that he would be putting out there would be very different than the guy who wants a cup of coffee for a dime to run under the train and keep going. So you have to understand your target audience. And when you do put out these videos or these testimonials, make sure that you use the terminology that your audience is going to be typing into that Google search box, because that's how you'll get your ads, not ads, I'm sorry, your content to show up.
All right.
And so with the, I guess, target audience, you guys should actually be making customer profiles. That it's I mean, it sounds a little intimidating, but it's actually not. So it's pretty simple, right? You basically make up a fake customer, right? Your ideal customer, the customer that you think will come to your business, right? For example, we're going to just keep bombarding Jeff with all of these because I guess coffee is the easiest thing to give examples for, right? With Jeff, right? Like he has specialty coffees, right? So he, like Mark said, he's not going to cater to the average guy that just wants $1 cup of coffee, right? So now he has to figure out what kind of customer would like that, their age, their sex, their like what their jobs are, and so on, right? And well, like I'll have a link on Rahway Designs on how to create a customer profile, but these are good ways to figure out where you can improve your business and how you can specifically target those people.
Yeah, and the reason it's important to figure out who they are is because the next step is to figure out where they hang out and how to reach them.
Yeah.
Right. Most effectively. So everything boils down to being specific about everything. You don't have Coca-Cola dollars, because if we all did, we wouldn't be on this call right now. And Coca-Cola's strategy is throw as much money as you can on the most expensive commercials you can, and let's get everybody in the whole world drinking Coca-Cola. We can't afford to do that. So we've got to break it down into very specific audiences that are going to be most receptive to what we have to offer, and then find out where they hang out online and show them what we have. That's what it comes down to. And it takes a lot of reading. It takes a lot of getting used to understanding how to navigate through some of those areas where they congregate, social media, Instagram accounts. You guys should all set up Instagram accounts if you haven't already. I just did. I don't know what to put on it yet, but we'll figure it out. It's a brave new world. So don't be afraid to get out there and try stuff or ask us questions.
Yeah.
With that quick break, I just want to repeat something that was identified in the chat and see what the panel's thoughts are. There's a business owner that referenced that they've only done free online promotion. Any thoughts around that?
What is free online promotion?
What do you mean by that? Free online promotion?
Hi, everybody. It's Lisa. What I was talking about was like my Google page and Instagram, anything that's free that I can promote on.
Sorry, you broke up for a second, or at least on my end. Can you say that again?
I was saying I haven't really paid for ads, but I use things like Instagram, Facebook. I have a Google My Business, and they always send reminders of putting up a post. So I use everything that's free so far. I haven't really paid for ads.
Yeah, which is great. If you're able to do it without having to pay for anything and it's working for you, that's fantastic, right? And that's kind of what we were pushing earlier, was the quickest way to get online was to create your social media pages as well as claim your business on Google, right? And I think I said the few things that you could do, but yeah, you can post your images on there, you can post your special offers, and you can contact your customers directly, or they can contact you. But Lisa, how, like, do you see your engagement on Google My Business, right? How's it doing organically?
I do get response from it. When you say organically, I haven't really analyzed the actual numbers, but I know people that come to me, and I always ask people how they find me. A lot of times it is Google.
So you're I mean, I've been to your business before. So you're primarily focusing on local SEO or local performance, right? You want people locally to come to your shop. Now, is there any other things that you like? Do you target people that are, let's say, for example, in New York or Pennsylvania or is
Oh,
it just
I have customers all over the place, and I also do virtual visits. I have a
okay.
fabric store, like a sewing
Yeah.
fabric store. So I have virtual visits where people can actually make a Zoom appointment and shop in real time, and then we ship the order. So I'm everybody.
Okay.
I want to
Now,
local as well as people all over
yeah.
the place. So,
Now, like, I think a great thing for you to be able to do is you could actually, I don't know how your website is, but you could actually sell on your website. So you don't necessarily have to do a virtual tour. You can
I
just,
do that too. Yeah.
okay. And then you can,
I've had the website for years.
yeah. And
And an
I
extra thing, but
remember,
it's live.
yeah, I remember seeing, well, I've been to your store,
Right.
but I remember seeing what you do sell, and you could actually, if you do have like a great website, you could actually sell your stuff on Facebook Marketplace as well, because there is that niche for your services on there.
Yeah, I haven't done a lot with Facebook that's paid. Or really anything. I think I did one ad years ago, and like you said, it wasn't much response, so I kind of left it. But
Yeah, you don't, yeah. So, I mean, we'll have links and resources, but after this, you can contact any one of us and we can give you some more help on that.
okay. Thank you.
No problem.
There's also a very interesting link I want to talk about real quick is if you've heard of the Small Business Administration, you can get free business counseling from the SBA. They have a program of retired CEOs who would love nothing more than to share their experiences now that they're retired with new business owners. And you can use them as mentors. You can use them as sounding boards. If you have questions, I would use them as an advisory board for myself. They're great if you get a good one, and they're free. And the link is on rawwaydesigns.com.
Anna, we have a question. How do we get Google to pick up Facebook posts and videos?
Sham, that is
Sorry.
your question, my friend.
I accidentally muted my mic. So can you repeat that question?
Sure. How do we get how do we get Google to pick up our Facebook postings and videos?
I don't know if there's necessarily, I mean, do you know, Mark, is there a way that you can, your Facebook post will automatically post on Google? There are companies, for example, like Hootsuite, which are social media managers, which let you connect multiple social media accounts and make posts on there. For example, you can connect your Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter to it, and then you can create the same posts for each one and schedule them to be posted. And Hootsuite.com. It's actually great because it's free for the first, I think, 3 or 4 social media profiles. And then after that, I think it's like $20 or $30 per month. But basically you can sit down one afternoon and create like 10 or 15 posts and then just schedule them. So you don't have to worry about them throughout the month. So that's a great thing, especially for business owners like us who don't really have time to keep on top of posting every single day. Yeah, but I mean, the simplest thing you could do is you could just take whatever you post on Facebook and just post it directly on Google as well.
Tammy, your hand was up.
Yeah, I have a question. You guys see this? Hi, everybody. I'm not being lazy. I just wanted to let you guys know. You're like, is she still in bed? But I had knee surgery yesterday, so I'm kind of laid up right now. Yeah, and Sham, I wanted to say you and I are kind of like twins. We have the same class.
Oh yeah, we do.
Okay, almost.
It's Sham, by the way, but it's okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just thinking the Hootsuite, is that HAUT or HOOT?
It's right. Anne Marie put it up for everybody.
Oh, I didn't
in the
see
chat.
It's in the
Yeah,
chat.
it's in the chat.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah.
I was thinking that would be really good for me because I have a lot of videos, but I know now since I'm having like a little bit of pain and I'm on like this machine and stuff with my knee, That would work perfect for me because I can schedule it out. Like, some days I
Yeah.
may not feel like
Now,
posting every day. So that would be good.
the
Just
one
don't
thing,
write your ads on pain meds.
yeah.
Right. I know. Right.
Those are words of advice, by the way.
That's right. Thank you.
But
That's so
if you
true.
guys are going to be using, so there's other ones, but Hootsuite is just one of the examples that I use, right? But you have
Okay.
to remember, Instagram just changed their policy. So
Mhm.
every time or it was a little while back, but whenever you schedule a post for Instagram, you have to
Mhm.
have the Hootsuite app and Instagram app on your phone, and it'll send you a reminder for the time that it's supposed to be posted, and you have to actually just open up Instagram and it'll automatically post it in there. And that's
Oh,
just
so
because Instagram changed the policy.
okay.
Um,
Okay.
but
Okay.
everything like your Facebook and Twitter will just automatically post without you having to worry about it.
Oh, good.
Mhm.
Good.
Okay,
Thanks.
panel.
Thank
Just
you.
wanted to two things. First is there's a lot of businesses on the line now that cover retail and cover dining and arts and culture. But can you comment at all for what we can offer to businesses that are more professional services, such as they're not getting people coming in through the door. It's all professional corporate services.
Right. Yes.
So professional corporate services. What I do and I try to do is establish myself as somewhat of a knowledge thought leader on certain subjects, and inject myself into conversations that exist online on some of the bulletin boards. And like I said, I've just started using the Clubhouse app, where I can be a moderator, which would allow me to speak and answer questions around subjects that I can sell services for. It's a great way to establish yourself. I can't say enough about Clubhouse, the app. It's just a great way to get yourself known, to get yourself in front of the world. I'm talking, I've got people from South Africa I'm talking to. There's people in China, Japan, and they all congregate around a common subject. Thought leaders lead the conversations, and people like us ask questions of them, and they give us phenomenal answers and suggestions.
Nice.
So I'm so addicted. I spend hours on it, and I've become a moderator now. So I'm answering questions for people. And back to the original question, let people know that you know this stuff. Find ways to inject your knowledge and your experience into conversations so that afterwards people say, hey, you know what? Andrew knew his stuff. Like, let me give him a shout and see if I can contract with him for more work.
All right.
Establish yourself as the expert through content.
So the lovely couple that has the numbers on your name. I'm sorry, what was your business?
That's Layla's Attic.
Yeah, it's Lala's Attic.
Sorry, what is it?
Lala's Attic.
Lala's Attic. And what do you guys sell?
So we're a boutique thrift store, but we're not in the downtown area. We're more on the other side of St. George.
Okay.
Right where the Dollar Tree is at.
Yeah. And now, do you guys have like a online presence? Any
We
sort?
do. We actually when COVID started, we actually started doing Facebook Lives, which actually helps us a lot. I mean, it's
Facebook Live. So like basically going live and then showing people what you have, and they can essentially bid on it.
No. So they don't bid; they just buy. We use an app called Common Sold that attaches to the Facebook Live. So my wife, she's the one that goes on the live. I sit in the back, and she just basically starts showing the products that she wants to post for that day.
Yeah.
And customers, basically like what we're doing here in Zoom, they're able to sit down, watch, and basically she's presenting. And if she shows, let's just say, a T-shirt, an Armani men's T-shirt, small, they can say there's normally a number on it. Let's just say it's 105. They can say sold 105 medium.
Okay.
Able to purchase on.
So
that's great.
I'm glad that's working for you guys actually. And that's like a creative way that you guys could actually, sell. And I never thought of that myself. So that's good. But there, like, you could also sell on your website or create a website to sell on it.
Yeah, we
Right.
have a website. It's been working.
And
We do a lot of what you guys spoke about, especially
Yeah.
when it comes to like meta
And,
tag, SEO.
I think I touched up on Facebook Marketplace, right? So that, I think you guys and Cultured Expressions, that those are great things to post on there. And maybe even a few other of the businesses that are,
We post on Marketplace. We post
Yeah.
on OfferUp. We post on 5 Mile.
yeah.
Yeah,
So,
we try to get out there, but
yeah.
our
And
thing, our hardest thing is getting people to come through the door
yeah,
because of where we at. We're tucked in like next to Plum Tomato.
yeah.
Yeah, I was there on Friday. I bought a T-shirt, a purse, and
So that,
There you go. Leverage your existing customers, guys.
yeah.
so that's the thing. Right now, of
Mhm.
course, with everything going on in the world, it's hard to get people in your door, right? So you just have to kind of find a way to bring it to them, right? The businesses that are succeeding are the ones that are shipping out to their customers as an
Yeah, that's right.
right. So I'm not sure if you guys do any shipping or like
Yeah.
yeah. So you guys do handle all of that, right?
Yeah, so we offer in-house
you
pickup.
guys-
and shit.
You guys might do well with some sort of ads. Like, have you guys done any like Google ads or Facebook ads?
That
Or
Google ads,
actually,
we've done Facebook ads.
I think Instagram might be good for you guys. So
We're on that. When it's connected to Facebook, so when she posts on Instagram, it automatically goes to the Facebook page.
yeah,
Mhm.
but I mean, with the ad,
So our Shopify is actually, our website is by Shopify.
yeah.
It's connected to Instagram, which gives us a
Okay.
shop.
Yeah. So your Instagram is a shop page where so with the Instagram shop page, you can actually post. I don't know if it'll do it automatically, right? But if you go through the Instagram app, you can actually post it, and you can actually have people click and buy directly from it.
Yeah, so you add the product as a tag.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
we
So
have
you
that
do,
going on
you
there.
do that. Okay. So you guys are doing a lot of things that are right, actually. So now
Gotta
I
get
guess
you on the panel next time.
yeah.
We just the problem is we just can't get the organic I guess what people
Like
that
foot
add on to
traffic.
our Instagram.
Yeah, so that
Location.
from like my from my experience, like clothing and stuff like that usually needs a lot of advertising and promotion to sell, right? Just because you're competing with so many other brands. Like yeah, and then that's where that customer profile comes into play for you guys, right? That we talked about, because you want to try to target people that are going to go to the thrift stores to buy clothing, right? So do you guys know what your target audience is or demographic?
Yeah. Who's your ideal client?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I would say I mean, so it kind of ranges depending on because
and-
it also depends on what we have in the store and what we advertise.
Yeah.
So
So
you have thrifters, which we call, they're actually resellers.
mhm.
So between 18 and 25, they come in looking for the vintage shirts,
Yeah.
vintage items, or even like Pyrexes or whatnot. Clothing is straight.
Yeah.
30 to
So
55.
How is your branding? How is your logo and your branding?
So we have my brother actually, he did the logo. I don't know if you can see the design. It's on Lala's Attic. It actually shows like a little attic on top. I mean, everything is good, legit right now. It's like, again, it's just trying to get out there to get the customer. We've made all the mistakes already. We've paid
Okay.
for advertisement on Yelp.
yeah. So
We've done advertisement on Waze. Like, we spent a lot of money, but it's
yeah,
not
so
enough.
that's the thing. People tend to like everybody makes this mistake, right? Even I made this mistake, and I'm sure Cheryl and Mark have made this mistake too, is spending a lot of money on ads and not really getting too much of a return, right? So you kind of have to optimize your ads, and one way to do it, which like we use, is called A/B testing. Basically testing two ads alongside each other, right? and seeing which one does better, then optimizing the next couple ads to do it. And you just put a little bit of money into those to see what will give you the best return. And then once you optimize it to give you the best return, you'll have the best ad. So what like people tend to do, instead of optimizing it, they'll say, oh, this seems like a great ad. Let me just put $1,000 into it and then not see anything in return. But little do they know that their target audience might not like that ad or might not even engage with it. And another thing we could do is we could take a look at your, like what you've done for marketing and see how we can improve it from there. Because that, I mean, like I said, from my knowledge, the best way for like what you guys sell is through advertising.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it might be useful to have one of the experts, perhaps Cheryl from Wisdom Media, look over the website and see if there are, the website,
The branding.
the
and
logo
stuff.
and branding, and just see if
Mhm.
there's ways that that they can be improved or be more engaging, or as they spoke about in the panel, website is so important, and how can you really draw on the customer. So it might be useful to reach out to one of the experts about
Yeah.
just
I mean, I don't know if you can see this, but our website looks like this.
I'm on it right now.
Yeah.
Can
So,
you-
So,
that's the logo right there. I don't know.
yeah.
Okay. Can you post it on the chat, the link to it, so then we could take a look at it? But I know we're getting pretty late on this. So does anybody else have any questions or?
I think there are a couple questions, Anne-Marie, right?
Yeah.
Thank you. Yes, there are. Just in speaking of collabs that Jeff brought up earlier, Lisa from Cultured Expressions said thank you to everyone, but she also said to Jeff that she's interested in a joint venture collaboration. So Jeff, you should definitely reach out to Lisa of Cultured Expressions. Secondly, we have a comment from Shamrock Enterprises, which actually makes a good point that ties into the conversation we were just having. And it's as follows. An educated customer was from New York City clothing store that sponsored Saturday night movies on Channel 13, Cy Sims. So something to think about that is tying your name and your brand to something else that's happening indirectly, and by default, your business gets a lot of shine.
Good.
That's great.
Brilliant.
Yep.
Very good.
Yeah,
All
one
right.
comment I have for everybody who is going to be getting into online advertising with keywords is pretty straightforward. If you want to pay for a keyword that's very generic, you're going to pay a lot and not have a lot of conversions. Example, golf or DUI. I think DUI costs $75 a click last time I checked. $75 for one click for DUI. So if the attorneys that were paying for that didn't do business in New Jersey and a New Jersey person clicked on it, they lost $75. So my point is, if you're going to do the advertising, make the keywords long, 3 keywords at once. Rahway, mild or light roast coffee, for example, instead of coffee. So the more specific the keywords, the more likely the people that will click on them will purchase from you, and the less money you're going to spend bidding against them. So if you do go out there, think specific. Everything is specific now.
That's great advice, Mark.
Be specific.
Are there any other questions or comments?
Not in the chat at the moment.
Okay. From our panelists, any last minute, besides for leverage your existing customers, anything else you wanna say?
Clubhouse app.
Clubhouse. Okay.
I'm addicted. I am addicted.
I'm gonna post my email in the chat. So if anybody has any questions or needs any guidance with anything, feel free to message me. And Cheryl and Mark, I suggest you guys do the same. So this way they can just directly contact us.
Yeah.
Perfect. Also, I'm not sure you can copy the chat. So you might need to write down everything that you see there that you want to maintain.
Cheryl, do you have any last minute, or not last minute, but any further comments before we go? Oh, I think you're muted.
There was some noise outside, so I muted
Oh.
myself. Again, just have professional looking branding and logo is really important to, to get your message and your tone and the way that your business wants to speak to the outside world.
Yeah, and you've been in this business for a long time, so you've sort of seen it all.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So thank you so much. All right. And on Emery, do you have anything? Oh, I'm sorry, Tammy, you have a question?
Yeah, I just wanted to know, like on Instagram and Facebook, I'm mostly on Instagram though, but how often should we post? Is it like 2 times a day, 3 times a day? Is there a certain time?
So it's unique based on businesses as well. But what do you do exactly, Tammy?
I'm an artist. I sell art.
You sell art, right?
Mhm.
So that might do well with at least once or twice a day. But remember, it's like, let's say you miss a day, just keep posting.
Right.
But like, people might not see it, so you do have to optimize like your hashtags, for example, and find unique hashtags that are trending so people do see it.
Okay.
Yeah, and there are tools, apps you can download that are hashtag locators. So it'll, if you search for them on Google, you'll find them. I don't have a specific referral, but if you type in what you're looking for, they will give you the most active hashtags to use.
Oh, great.
And as an artist, you might want to join various Facebook groups. Try and push your art.
Right.
Like-minded groups.
Right, individual. Okay. Thank you. Yeah, I was told this by, well, one of my kids actually told me this, that don't just put like artists on Instagram as a hashtag because they have like 16 million, like whatever it is. So she said, go for the lower numbers and that will give you more views or something.
More direct.
It depends on the lower numbers you're talking about. But if a hashtag only has, let's say, 50 posts, then
that's not good.
People aren't really engaging with it. So the best way to do it is you could actually, like Mark said, you can look up trending hashtags, right? And you can try to relate those to whatever the art piece is and use those hashtags.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that's what I've been doing. Thank you.
No problem.
So.
All right. The last, sorry, Amy.
Go ahead.
The last question I'd like to ask of you guys, is there something that you hoped that we would talk about that we didn't?
No. All right. We covered everything then. Yeah. If you do have an idea of something that maybe you want to ask later, or if something comes to you later, then absolutely reach out to our panelists. I think guys and Cheryl will have your contact information on rahwaydesigns.com. So you'll be able to find them there. You can also always reach out to the Rahway Arts and Business Partnership. We're here to help you. So please do that. And there are plenty of city resources as well. Mayor Giacobbe really is has a focus on the businesses and wants to make sure the city is doing everything they can. City is doing everything we can to assist you and make sure that you're a success. So
very good.
Yeah.
Very good. Okay.
All right.
Okay.
So I would just like to thank all our guests today. Thank you for coming and engaging with us today. Also our panelists, they have worked really hard to present this and we really appreciate their time and energy. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. So on behalf of Anne-Marie and I, enjoy the rest of your day and we'll see you on rahwaydesigns.com.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Will we
Everybody,
ever do this
happy
again?
Wednesday.
Thank you for making this happen, Anne-Marie and Amy.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'd like to do it again.
We'll let you know the next time we're doing it, Tammy.
Great. Awesome. Thanks.